introduction. He was our first Lifetime Achievement Award winner. We've been around so long, it's, like real impressive. But here you go, Nicholson.
Thank you for inviting me to speak here today. The pre-trial publicity I saw in the conference was interesting. I was described as a rock star, and instead of going to my car, it went to my head, so I brought an entourage today. Given my peer group, it's a mature entourage. I'd like to introduce first my cameraman, Bob Nicholson. If you're unable to stand, just raise your hand. My trusted brother and a professor of science in New Jersey at college. And my security man, Jim Kelly. Raise your hand, Jim. He's a retired federal agent and one of the greatest informant handlers I ever saw. The greatest, I should say. We first met when we were investigating outlaw bikers in '76. And we've had each other under surveillance ever since. And of course, my spiritual advisor, you've already met, that's Jack Morrison. Look how lifelike he looks sitting there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll speak about 20, 25 minutes, then we'll have some Q&A. I'm both honored and humbled to be here today. I've never felt so much pressure at giving a speech, and I've given many, as I do this one. And I wrote it out, I prepared, because it's pressure when you're preaching to the choir. Here, I am preaching to the preachers. So you can imagine how I feel about that. This is a room full of talent, professionalism, and dedication, unlike I've ever seen in the world of open writing. Because, as I'll explain, it's a whole new world. The fact is, none of you should be here today. This organization should not exist. I know that because I said it 25 years ago. Burr Van Atta, the late Burr Van Atta, who was the father of the modern obit page in Philadelphia, and I were very close friends. We'd have coffee 2 or 3 times a day. He wrote for the Inquirer. And one day, sitting in the lobby, I don't know who brought it up, we said, wouldn't it be neat? And we always talked obits, talked trees, and the usual thing. Wouldn't it be great if we had a bunch of us together as sort of an organization? Yeah, I said, but that's not going to happen, Burr. There's no way that can happen. And he accepted my verdict because I was pretty good at predicting things. As a counterintelligence officer in the reserve, we did a lot of active duty. Predictive intelligence is the grail of intelligence. And I have done predictive intelligence that was well received by the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Pentagon, heads of law enforcement agencies, and the chiefs of staff and dictators of small, unstable Central American countries in the 80s that we had befriended. So I knew what I was talking about. I was so wrong. I'm so glad. I was completely wrong. I based my prediction on the past. A good analyst is a good historian. There's nothing new under the sun, saith the preacher in Ecclesiastes. And I knew who wrote obits. I said, Burr, you and I, we got crossways with the management. That's why we're here. Okay? He had testified against the company in a union arbitration while an editor. I had done an internal investigation of mob influence in the building, down in the shops. And that pretty much was the fast track to writing obits. And the rest of the people writing obits were old-timers spooling out their line. ex-users, young kids trying to make their way into the main newsroom. Plus, it was an itinerant profession. No good writers lasted a year, 3 years. They either moved on, dropped dead, retired, whatever. So no, Bert, can't happen. What did happen 5 or 6 years ago when a visionary public relations woman named Carolyn Gilbert said, I think I'll do this if I build it to come. She wasn't even in the business. Public relations, wasn't a journalist, wasn't an open writer. And she made it happen. She gathered people not only from around the country, but from Australia, from England, all over. And she began having gatherings annually. And from that group was a core membership that wanted to form an additional organization that would be dedicated to professionalism, to raising the craft, to education, and thus was born, thanks to Alana and a core of other people, I wish I knew all their names, the Society of Professional Obituary Writers. Amazing, amazing. I wish Burr was here, he probably is. Paraphrase the Bible, wherever 2 obit writers gathered, there I am also. So he might be there. We wish